I'm gonna show you how great I am.
If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to live its whole life believing that it's stupid. You see, with all of the great things that have come along with the internet, there's been some real negatives that have come along, especially in the music community and the drumming community in particular. The one that I see cropping up time and time again and blocking my students, blocking players that I talk to, blocking extremely talented musicians, is this thing of comparison. Of negatively comparing yourself to someone else's playing. You see, comparison is different than imitation. When we compare, we automatically place a quality judgment as if this is better or that is better. We have two things. This is greater, this is less. This is greater, this is less. But the problem is you can't compare apples and oranges. It never works out. You can't compare your own voice to someone else's voice on the instrument because they're a different and unique individual. You see, there's this old allegorical framework, and it goes that it's inappropriate to judge an animal based upon a set of skills that that animal doesn't possess. Like a fish trying to climb a tree. It seems ludicrous, right? It's the same way with us. It's inappropriate to make a judgment on your own playing based upon the external playing of someone else, a voice you've heard them play with. It's inappropriate to make that judgment because you're a different player. You come from a different place. You have a different purpose. You have a different role. You have a different voice on the instrument. So all we're doing is knocking ourselves down. And with social media, I love social media. You see me on there all the time. But with social media, it's so easy to take some 30-second clip that a 14-year-old from the middle of nowhere in Ohio recorded 82 times to get the perfect take and took 8 hours to do it and edit it and make the lighting just right and compare ourselves to that. You see, comparison is different than imitation. Imitation is part of the game. We gotta do that because that gives us resources to draw from. Mirroring in the learning process is very important. When you were a baby, that was the first way you learned. You mirrored how other people walked. You mirrored how they talked. You mirrored how they picked up their food. Your parents, your brothers and sisters. That's inherently a way that we as human beings learn. So when we see other players and we mirror how Elvin Jones plays, or we mirror how Tony Williams played, or whoever your drummer of choice is, when we mirror their playing, it allows us to draw from that and say, hey, we kind of want this to have a Tony Williams kind of, okay, cool, I got that. You can draw from that because you've imitated them. You've tried to emulate their sound. But see, I never compared myself to them because they're different, altogether different. And this is the same thing as I think Australian accents are really cool. I don't have one. I'm from the deep south. When I get tired, I have a real southern accent. But I think they're great. What would happen if I came in to the house and started talking in an Australian accent? My wife would go, what are you doing? You sound silly. It's the same way we sound when we try to imitate or when we try to compare ourselves to other people and try to sound like what they're sounding like because we think that's better than what we sound like. There's a fine line between imitation and comparison, that negative comparing of our own voice to someone else. You're a unique individual. You see, I don't want you to be better than a drummer. I want you to be a better drummer. The only way, I've said it before and you've heard me say it before, the only way this art form moves forward is if we have your voice, is if you contribute original work to this. So the next time you hear somebody's playing, instead of going, man, they're so much better than me, instead of placing a judgment on it, appreciate it for what it is. Look for the quality. See if there's something you can take from that and add to what you do. But don't compare yourself to other players because it's silly. Your voice is different. My voice is different. And we have to realize that. Teddy Roosevelt has a quote that you may know, you may not know. And it's comparison is the thief of joy. And it's so true. So the next time you're on social media, the next time you're going into your practice room, don't watch a video and compare yourself to someone that has completely different experiences, completely different upbringings, a completely different voice. Because you're a unique individual on this instrument. And I just want to hear that. When you sit down to play, I want to hear what your voice sounds like. Stop the comparing. It's something that I'm dealing with way too much with the players I'm around, with the students that I'm teaching. We got to stop it. You're an individual, you've got a voice, and I want to hear it. That's what moves this drumming thing forward, is you.